Hey guys, Godius Rex here. Welcome to FaztTipz. A lot to go over today. Fallout 4, the buggy Mechanist Quest. Fallout 4 is a great game, but notoriously buggy in a few places. The point about FaztTipz is actually to provide a lot of information and useful tools in a short amount of space. So the fact that I hit a bug on this playthrough, in fact probably 2 bugs, gave an opportunity to share a lot of information and ideas for how to handle this. Here I am at this boss fight. It's ended, at least for this round. It's not continuing. Nothing else is coming at me. But the Mechanist is still in her impenetrable control room, which is a problem because you can't talk to her, you can't go in there, and things have ground to a halt. To be fair, the first most preferable way to handle these glitches is probably just to save and redo the glitchy part. Oftentimes the glitch will not occur in a subsequent playthrough. Even in survival mode for this particular DLC, there is a save point, beds, fairly nearby to the final boss fight. It's in the ghoul cages. I didn't use it in this case or on this playthrough, but you should. The second most preferable way to handle, or maybe I should say the easiest and most straightforward way to handle glitches in the Mechanist Quest, is to find the enemies, if any, that are hung up somewhere in this room, oftentimes up on the catwalks or perhaps in different alcoves, and kill them. They're just sitting there, sort of unkilled, undeployed, unhostile, and that's the reason that things aren't progressing. Now, I already tried that in this case, and I looked, but because I had a second glitch related to exactly this point, I can show you that second approach later, but we're going out of order here. I'm going to start with the third most preferable way to handle glitches. And that third way is to use console commands and the set stage instructions. Honestly, I use them all the time, particularly in Fallout 4, and I've rarely had problems with them. The issue is that they can become problematic for certain quests, especially if they're related to main quests or something like that. So at least use them with caution, I'll put it that way. 3 things to see here. The tilde on your keyboard is how you activate the console. Google it if you want more information on how to get started. The second thing you see here is the command set stage that you would type into the console once it's open, and the actual ID given for the Mechanist Quest. Stage is actually the thing you would enter, and I'll show you that in a minute, to advance the quest manually instead of letting it run naturally. And the last thing listed here is the website address of the wiki for Fallout 4, and in particular for this DLC quest, the Mechanist Quest, which is called Restoring Order. And you can find all the stages and other information there if you want more than I'm giving you. But here they are in case you don't want to go look there. And I'm stuck at 700. You know, I got into the headquarters, I can't finish this fight, so 900 is the stage that I would select in order to advance to the next part of this quest. It's interesting though, and another chance to share another little tip, is that if you look at the set stage given by the wiki, it has an XX in front of it. What's the deal with that? Well, the deal is that XX is something you need to put a number in. You can't use XX. It's typically related to the order that the mod or the DLC is loaded. You can find that through another way, particularly if you use a mod manager and know where to look. But I want to give you another tip because I feel that help is one of the great underused console commands. Simply typing help, I see these all the time on different forums. What's the ID? How do I find this or that? Try help. In this case, just to show you what I mean, I typed in help Mechanist, and you get a whole bunch of stuff related to the DLC. Page up and page down is how you scroll through the list of search results. And one thing I found in this list is that 01 kept coming up as the first 2 numbers. And in fact, that's correct. So 01 replaces the XX for that particular ID to set stage in the console. In general, these numbers are 01 to 06 or 07, etc. It's based upon the number of DLCs you have and where they're loaded. So you can actually just trial and error these, put in 01, 02, and see what works. But in this case, 01 was correct. So down here on the lower left by the green arrow, this is my final command for set stage and moving forward. And that in fact worked, but there's 2 other things I have to do. I'll show you those quickly. and it also gives an opportunity to highlight some really important tools on the console. The first one is TCL. That's turning collision on and off, whether your player runs into objects or can pass through them like a ghost. I have to use that to get into this control room because I still can't get in. The bug has prevented the control room from opening normally. So TCL is typed in the lower left, and that's what I'm going to use here to fly like a ghost through this window in a moment. But a tip, important one that I forget even after many playthroughs, is that if you have an object selected, as I do in this case, you see the green arrow on the Mechanist, that brings up her ID. If that is the case, when you try to use TCL, it won't work. So you have to kind of click out of this, click the object twice until this ID area clears. And at that point, TCL will work normally. And I'll actually show you a video in a second of what TCL looks like when you're flying around the room. But for now, because we try to keep FaztTipz rather punchy, and in the interest of time, I flew through the window, I talked to the Mechanist, there's a little dialogue. She says, go ahead and disarm the defenses. And so that's the next thing I have to do, except when I got over to the console, I see that it's locked. So now what to do? Specifically, this is what I'm looking at. I need a key, RB-2851. I didn't get it because sometimes when you use the console command or set stage, it makes things jump forward in a way that skips something else. For instance, me getting this password. Now, as a general tip, sometimes you can pickpocket somebody nearby, even in cases of a glitch like this, to get it. I can't, I don't believe, in this case, but that's fine. I can still use help and player add item. I'll show you how to do that next. One thing about Fallout, if you need a key, oftentimes it'll tell you the name quite specifically. RB-2851 is what it gave us in the last screen. I type in help RB-2851, and here in the lower left you can see my console commands and the history of what I just typed, and it pops up with this, and there it is. There's a key. That's the one that I need. So player.add item, put in the code of the item that you want, in this case the key. I get the key in my inventory, I can unlock the master control terminal, I turn off the defenses, all should be good and I should be progressing forward. But as I said, I had two bugs that I needed to take care of. Or more specifically, after I used the master control terminal, a boss fight with robots out in the main area was re-triggered. It had been hung up by this first bug. That's fine, I could have gone and resolved that, but during that ensuing battle, I had another bug, and it happens to be a very common bug, again, with this DLC and quest, so it's a perfect opportunity to show another approach and another fix. And I restarted the fight thinking this is going to be fine, and all of a sudden I get through another wave of robots and things are stuck. So I told you that I had read that one of the common glitches in this particular mod, the DLC, the Mechanist Quest, is that the robots or the enemies will be stuck somewhere in this room, up on the catwalks or in the crevices from which they are emerging, and that finding them and eliminating them is a good way to kickstart this quest again. And that is exactly what happened to me in this case. And I'll prove it by going to video to show you the whole thing. As you can see, no more robots, but the defenses and conveyor belts are still going. There's a grenade dropping. So I'm going to use TCL again, not FKS, which I used to kill the sound of the alarms, which were bugging me, but TCL in the console, so I can go check out the room. Type TCL on the console, and that allows me to do this. Fly around the place, moving through the objects, and I'm checking these little places. I already did, there's a little lightning, but no robot there. But look what I found when I went down here into this floor trap door, and bingo, here's a robot, not dead, but not deploying into the fight. Not here when I checked for my first glitch, but whatever. I kill it now, and watch and listen what happens next.
Reserve power at 34%.
That intercom, in other words, is signaling that the next wave or the next round of this fight is about to happen. So we're coming pretty near the end, and I have to finish this fight. So I TCL again so that I am back in regular collision mode, and here come the robots. I'm using, by the way, the JAK auto shotgun. which is a nice little mod on the Nexus and is perfect for this fight. And I'm just going to play it out because I want you to see that actually that did resolve the glitch in being hung up. There's an iBot, and this is this next round of robots. Gone. A few more. Got him. And got him on the way down. And you can hear the countdown now. So this is really, the end of this boss fight, the final wave. A few more maybe. iBot. Gone. No, still dead. Dead already. And that should be it. So power goes off, power comes on again, and that really marks the end of this boss fight. No more waves of robots. 2 separate glitches, but it is, in fact, finally done. To summarize, the first best way to deal with bugs like this, but specifically for a buggy Mechanist Quest, is resting, saving often, and trying the whole bug section again, hoping the glitch doesn't happen in that round. Second best way, and I did these out of order, but finding hidden or stuck robots somewhere in the main room of the Mechanist Quest during the boss fight. Using TCL in this case in the console is very handy here. And a third approach, which I also had to do, that's a bit more involved, as you saw, was using console commands and set stage as a way of unsticking things. But all in all, this worked, and the rest of the Mechanist Quest advanced normally for me with no problem. And that's it, guys. Hope this helped. A lot of info in a relatively short space. Smash a like and or subscribe if you want, and I will see you next time on FaztTipz.